Well, today I wanted to talk about gratitude. I bought this little thing from the dollar store, a little cube, and it has stuff on it like cherish every moment. And then it has this, be grateful. That's one of the little blocks on here, be grateful. And I got it because usually when I do book signings, I like to have a table set up with lots of like flowers and cute stuff. And I thought because it says flowers on it, it'd be nice. Um, But every time I see this, be grateful, I get so annoyed. And I wonder how many other people feel like that. Um, do you have friends or family members who, when you are expressing yourself, when you're explaining that you've had a bad day or you don't feel well or just something bad happened and you're talking about it, and after you're done, your friend or family member looks at you and says, well, some people have it worse. You should be grateful that you blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, ugh. You're filled with this guilt, and you're also filled with just a feeling of, I guess, frustration. Frustration that you're not allowed to express how you genuinely feel about something. And that is unhealthy gratitude. Some people call it toxic gratitude. But it's when people use, or we, as I should say we, because probably we all do it a little bit, is when we use a tool that is great or a feeling that is really positive, like gratitude and appreciation, but we kind of weaponize it. Sometimes we use it to hurt other people, and it's probably unintentionally most of the time. And other times we actually use it to hurt ourselves. Um, like for the example that I just gave about how if you're trying to express yourself and then someone just dismisses your feelings of frustration or angst or anger, and because they're too negative, quote unquote, too negative, they kind of use gratitude as a sledgehammer and say, you should just be grateful, be appreciative, be positive. But does that even really help a person to be positive or grateful? No, it just makes them feel even worse. So, yeah, I see a lot of YouTube videos and like posts that people put up on Instagram or Facebook or whatever about how important it is to be positive and not be negative and be grateful. But saying that over and over and over again has the opposite effect. For example, take someone who has chronic illness, and I say this as a person who has chronic illness, but let's say someone else has cancer. They're dealing with they have a serious struggle with cancer. And some days may be better than others. I've heard it said that like chemo, the day you have chemo you might feel okay, but then the next day you'll feel really, really bad, usually. So let's say one day they had their chemo and they're feeling okay. They don't feel the effects yet. So they're around friends and they seem happy and everything. But then the next day they feel horrible. If that person wants to lie in bed because it's literally all they can do, and if someone comes over to kind of sit with them or whatever, and they find the strength to say, I feel so sucky right now, they should be allowed to say that because that's what's happening in their life. That's their reality. They're fighting cancer. Now, we're not all fighting cancer, but we're all fighting something. Some people are fighting depression, and it's okay for them if they're having a bad day to say, you know what, I am really depressed. I do not like life today. Let them say that. That's okay. And in fact, the way to practice gratitude in that moment, I think, is to appreciate the person for having the courage to express themselves. So instead of me forcing my beliefs about gratitude on someone else and saying, oh, don't talk about your depression, you should be positive. I should practice my own gratitude by just saying, you know what, I really appreciate you for being honest, and I hope your day gets better. And just leave it at that. Because like healthy gratitude is that. It's exactly that. It's seeing life as it is, the good and accepting the bad as well. Not turning a blind eye to it, but seeing it, accepting it, and then also noticing how the good sometimes overcomes the bad. Like with prejudice, I talk about that so much on this channel because it's a huge part of my life. With prejudice, I grew up in a household where I was told mostly to turn a blind eye to it, which is strange as a black person. I don't think a lot of black people are taught to be that way, but that is the way I was taught. Um, but the older I got and the more I started experiencing it myself, it was impossible to turn a blind eye to it. And I started to realize how actually toxic and unhealthy it is to do that. And I think I was told to do that because that was meant to be a protection, to help me be positive. But it doesn't help a person to be positive, to ignore horrible things that are happening right in front of them. What helps is to acknowledge it, but to also acknowledge the people who are not part of it, but who are fighting it. Because that helps us to build our, I guess, to build our principles, to build our character, to understand the difference between right and wrong, to learn how to be a human in a weird world. Um, so yeah, I think that healthy gratitude boils down to accepting things as they are and appreciating the good in life while also acknowledging the bad and perhaps trying to take steps to change the bad. Even though, you know, I might be just one person, you might be just one person. Every little good thing that we do helps. And we wouldn't be able to do any good if we didn't have gratitude or appreciation for possibilities, the possibility of change, um, of optimism, of just wanting to give hope to people. Like, like if someone passes someone on the street, like if you're walking down the street and you pass someone who obviously does not have a home and they're living outdoors, and you decide, you know what, I'm gonna run into this little restaurant and get them something to eat. But you ask them, would you like something to eat? And they're like, oh, sure, thanks. You go in, you grab some food for them, and you give it to them. They're grateful, but I also think the person who did the giving is also appreciative because what made them do that? Their appreciation for a fellow human being who they're not turning a blind eye to, and their appreciation for the possibilities of what could be. They realize that if this person had something to eat, maybe that would help them get on their feet a little bit more somehow. Maybe it would give them the energy that they need to take the next step towards not being without a home. So, yeah, appreciation and gratitude when it's healthy, it does not mean refusing to see what's bad and only seeing the good. It means seeing everything and being appreciative and grateful for everything. Thank you for watching this video. And if you have another definition of healthy gratitude and unhealthy gratitude, please feel free to leave it in the comments. Thanks, bye.